So a moment ago, I just got attacked by a huge bee. So if it comes back, I will be running. No, in all seriousness, I have a message for millennials. And I decided to do it outside because this reflects the mind state that we need to get into. This right here, some mangoes, pineapple, bananas is fire. A message to millennials. Right now, guys, our minds are being held hostage. And if you don't believe me that right now our minds are being held hostage, then think of the 12 years you spent in grade school and how little you learned. The restrictions on your movements, the revolution of your whole life around this one thing that introduced you to great people, put you in front of some people who did and didn't care, but at the end of the day didn't prepare you in a relevant way for what you're dealing with right now, which is a lockdown, quarantine, unemployment, and the biggest thing that it didn't prepare you for was the whole financial rug just being pulled out. We've had a culture of diagnosing problems for years. And if I want to have the solution-based conversation that I intend for this to be, then we have to be real about a couple of things before we talk solutions. Right now, a whole new generation of kids is being taken through and has, just left the public schooling system. Any curriculum changes that have happened since we went to school and prepared them for whatever finances they may encounter is now irrelevant, right now as of July 2020, because if you haven't heard, cryptocurrency is the new financial system. You probably haven't heard it, and that is on purpose. But that's not really the point. The point is not that there's a new financial normal coming and that we need to adjust to it. The point is not that we woke up after graduating high school again and again to more establishment lies. Those aren't the point. This is the point. If we are going to be the generation to change anything, we're going to have to accept that the lies are written in black and white. They are in songs and they are in YouTube videos, but the places where we seem to think it matters, which is in front of officials or in front of their strong arm, the police, if we think that we're going to change anything, we have to realize that what's in black and white has to change. That's one way of going about it. The other way is to create a new economy, which is why I am so proud to see so many millennials pouring into their businesses since this quarantine started. Natural products, entertainers, chefs, bakers. It's been amazing to see how much initiative we have. The underlying problem is that while our initiative is meant to be the keys to our freedom, since our initiatives are inherently involved in a corrupt system called the world economic system, the US dollar, you're just buying more time on your slavery. That's big. And you can refute that, and I know that your ego may reject that, but when you realize how money works, you realize you're buying more time into slavery. Every single US dollar that comes into you means that you now personally are a part of the United States debt to its central bank. This is the importance of really learning, because as we learn, we'll be able to see the traps. To become solutions oriented, guys, we've got to be educated, because we cannot keep moving without knowing the direction in which we're headed. And you can't actually move forward unless you accurately know where you've just come from. And if you don't understand money, really understand it, you don't know where you've come from. Okay? Now, it shouldn't be a hard sell that we were lied to. That's been kind of a recurring thing over the last 10 to 12 years, is just realizing how much it's happened. But in order for future generations to really get it, we are going to need to do a couple of things, which is understand why this whole thing is so screwed. Understand that community is super important. There are many ways to build that. And we also have to understand that authority ain't what it cracked up to be. Especially when the only reason that you as a person allow authority is because you don't trust someone else. That's not a good enough reason to give these crooks control over everything. Does that make sense? Listen. Because you understand that you're a good person who's not going to rob, kill, and shoot, but you don't trust the next man, is not a good enough reason to let them do what they're doing. Now, the non-aggression principle and self-governance, these are all things you can find on my channel or my blog. I will be expanding on them. But I do want to say, learning about the spirit and looking for wisdom beyond the 6,000 years of the Abrahamic tradition is a good place to start, just to open up your mind. So, a message to millennials. We got to read, even if it kills us. We got to learn, even if it drains us. And we got to move the wheel.